Salam alaikum. Good day. Buenos dias. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Friday, 45 degrees here in Philly this morning, 8:37 in the morning. Making the donuts like always, guys. Another day, another dollar. I had a question put in the comments that I'm going to try my best to answer. In no way am I an Orisha practitioner. In no way I have really license to speak because I'm not initiated into that tradition. So I pay my respects to all the elders, male or female, that are in that tradition. And let's continue with the question that was asked. The question was asked that they the person have heard from Ocha practitioners, Orishas, devotees of Ocha, of Santos, of Orishas, let's say, devotees of Orishas, depending on whatever pantheon of Orishas they are devoted of, or crowned upon, they have crowned that Orisha on them, they know. Well, it was asked that they have heard that all Orishas, Ocha practitioners, Santeros, Santeras, have said they are also paleros, or paleras, or enganguleros, or enganguleras, have said that if you practice too much palo, you get sick. If you do too much things with Nkisi Malongo, you get sick. And this is kind of a little, I want to say, controversial. And there's a lot of things in here that are in play when it comes to practicing two traditions. Because even though some might see a resemblance or think that they're the same, they are not. Some look at Orisha, the Orisha pantheon and Ocha, kind of like demigods. Some look at them, or even say, that's why they say santo. Some even say saint. You know, even some look at them also as some type of saint also. Now, I'm going to tell you that I practice in Nkisi Malongo. I'm not crowned in Ocha. I'm not a Santero. I'm not an Olorisha, a practitioner or a devotee of Orishas, or a certain Orisha. But you have to understand that when you get crowned your tutelary Orisha, the one who walks with you, the one who in other words, let's say, is born with you, and that you have to go through a babalao or noriate to find out who is the owner of your head to be crowned. In other words, let's use that term. You get crowned in Orisha, right? But you also receive other Orishas also as like Adimu, like Orishas that help or fertilizes or strengthens the main head Orisha that you have. Okay? They are complementary Orishas. They are not crowned. You don't have no crown on you, but they are complementary Orishas that you could also ask and do things and propitiate them and take care of them and everything. Now, when you have a tutelary Orisha, the Orisha that's been crowned on you, right? That you are now a practitioner after everything. There's a lot of things that go on, but after you become an Ocha priest or priestess, you have to remember that you have an ita. And in that ita, it's kind of tough for me because, you know, like I said, I don't have license to speak about this. But in your ita, there's a lot of things that come out, and there's a person that writes it down called a felicita that writes the stuff down. That the oriate is conversing with that person. That person is it's being crowned or gonna get crowned or is crowned. It's they different things, different ways. Anyway, but that main ita that you receive, that you get, that's for you. That's your life. That totally is your life. And everything that's spoken about with all the Oduns, everything is there. And you have to live that ita to be successful, to live a longer life, to have less negativity come to you. There are things that you have to be doing constantly, reflecting on and remembering and going over that ita, so you could be able to maneuver and walk life as you are here on earth, so things could be less difficult for you, more easier to live. There are prohibitions, things that you can eat, things you cannot eat, color of clothes that you could use, you cannot use. There's different types of things that happen. But let's say that's your life. That literally what everything that comes out on that ita is your life. And that is what you have to abide by. Now, we're talking about that, right? With Palo. Well, in Palo, there's no ita. Some do a baka, which is something to reading. They do some houses after an initiation, and they also have some stipulations. It's kind of like an ita, but not as extensive as an ita, and it's very short and very limited. But it gives you certain do's and don'ts and this and that and whatever. Now, what happens? As far as getting sick in Palo, whether you are initiated in Ocha and in Palo, or you are just initiated into Palo, or you're initiated into Ocha, if you do things that are wrong, incorrect, out of balance, things are going to happen to you. Because remember, you got crowned in Orisha. You got an ita that they gave you, telling you how you're supposed to live your life. That's your pattern of life. That's your camino, how you have to live for the rest of your life. If you don't do the things that are stipulated for you, in that, the do's and don'ts, the good, the bad, the yes, the no's, whatever, what do you think is going to happen to you? Many things. A lot of negativity, a lot of bad times, sicknesses, things of this nature. Because you're giving a manual how to live your life so things could go smoother. But you're not opening the manual, or you are not abiding by what the manual says. And you have to remember that these are Santos. They're giving you these instructions to live your life. So, same thing happens in Palo. If you do a lot of negative work in Palo, and you don't take care of yourself, you don't have a way or an understanding of how to balance the good and the bad, because really there's no such thing as good and bad. You understand? And in Kisimalongo, when we go in Kisimalongo, there's no bad and there's no good. There's polarities, positive, negative polarities. Positive, there's energies. They're positive, they have negative energies, but it's still a polarity. And it's almost like the yin and the yang. You understand? So if you do a lot of negative in Palo, and you don't know how to balance that negativity out with positivity, and how to keep that almost like a scale, not so underneath, then things are going to happen to you too. If you don't follow what your Inkisi says, if you do things the way you want to do it, and you're not counting on what the Inkisi how the Inkisi is instructing you to do the things. When I'm saying Inkisi, I mean the Nganga, instructing you how to do the things, what it needs, how you should do it. Things are gonna come back to you. That's just the way it is. You know, in life, what we sow is what we reap. If we sow bad seed, we're gonna reap bad products or produce or whatever. You know, if we sow good seed, we're gonna reap good produce. You know, good vegetation, good fruits in our labor. That's just life. Life is like that. This is nothing very so spectacular, because this is life for humans. But when you're dealing with a tradition, now it's just not your life as a human, when you were just walking, doing whatever you wanted to do, and making your own decisions for a lot of things. No, now, yeah, you still make decisions, but you also have to abide by what is stipulated on that ita, if you're a Santero. And you also have to abide by what's stipulated on your rama, from your singa di kanda, from that umbilical cord. You still have to abide by those rules. Because I don't know for so much, for a lot of ramas, but in some ramas, you do certain things and it costs your life because of the treaties of that rama, of that munanso, because of the nsinga di kanda, because of the umbilical cord, the way it was structured, the agreements it had from the beginning of that tronco mayor, that trunk, that major trunk, how it came down, had certain rules and certain things that you could not do as a priest or priestess or ngeyo. You know, really priests and priestesses, but let's, you know, add the ngeyo in there. I don't want them to feel bad. Things are going to happen to you, and some of these things are even death, sicknesses, loss of sight, problems with your skin, legs being able to move. Like these are things that happen to you because you're not abiding by the rules that they are given, the foundational rules and things that are given. So you are going to go through difficult times if you don't know how to balance these things out. There's people think out here, right? And I'm not speaking for everybody, but I have heard this many times. The Santeria is the white magic, and Palo is the black magic. Meaning Palo is of the devil, Santeria is more of God because it's white. But if you understand what Ocha is, what is an Orisha, what are Olorishas, the ones who practice that tradition, they do a lot of things. They could do a lot of things to hurt you too. You understand? But they gotta be constantly. You see, they know what to do and how to counter-react the things that might come back to them, or they will come back to them. They know how to balance things out, just like in Kisimalonga and Ganguleros and Ganguleros. A lot of them know how to balance things out. There are some times when you cannot do no bilongo, no witchcraft that is strong medicine. You know, in other words, not to save, not to help for nothing, to do the negative polarity side of that. There's sometimes that you can't even do that as an Nkisi Malongo practitioner with your Nganga. It tells you no. Not because it doesn't want to do it. It's because the majority of the time you are so depleted of that positive polarity, your scale is too high on that negative polarity side. So your yin or your yang is not even leveled. One is higher than the other. You understand? And a lot of the times is the negative side. Well, we will say negative. So and also you have to take under the account that, because I just spoke about, you got Crown Ocha, you got Erita, something that you got to abide by, plus the Santos, you got to follow your head Orisha, and the things, it's a lot. But you also have to remember also that if you are a practitioner of Ocha, and you also are initiated into Nkisi Malongo, there has to be a balance between Ocha and Nkisi Malongo and Palo. There has to be a balance. And you have to remember that if you're practicing doing a lot with Palo and you're neglecting your head Orisha from that tradition, and you're working a lot more with the other tradition, then what do you think is going to happen? There are things that you constantly have to be doing in either side of the traditions. So you have to have a balance, and you have to understand a lot of these things. You have to understand that there has to be a balance, especially when you're dealing with two traditions, because you have to take care of the other side of the tradition that you was crowned on also. You just can't practice Nkisi Malongo and forget about the Orishas. You understand? Because they there, or that Orisha is there to help you. That Orisha is there and probably saved your life. You got crowned because you was going to lose your life, or you had a health problem. So you have to give honor and reverence to that Orisha. You just can't stop. And this is one of the cases that happens when we see or we hear people getting sick. It's not because Palo or because of Palo. It has to do because you're neglecting a Orisha that you was crowned on, and you're not taking care of that Orisha. You're not reverence. You're not giving. You're not rendering the services that you're supposed to render. You're not going to that Orisha and asking for the things that you need. You're only using Nkisi Malongo to do these type of things, when in all true reality, Ocha has its ways of practicing. And even though everybody looks at it like, not everybody, some look at it like this is the positive light side of dealing with things, not the negative, they also have a lot of ways of doing things to hurt you too. You understand? To cure, to help, to hurt, same way. So this is kind of like a misconception. There's a lot of things in play here. I know I fumble with some of the terminology and some of the words, but see, I don't want to get into speaking about Ocha, because like I said, I don't have license in that. You got to speak to somebody. But if you have heard that, that's a misnomer. That's not the way things are. Now, there are a lot of variables there, but it's not because you practice a lot of Palo, and you're crowned you're going to get sick. There's a lot of variables. You have to know, what are you doing in Kisimalongo? At the moment, the time, when is the good time for you to do these type of jobs? Because you see, in Kisimalongo, people just don't do bad. Practitioners of Palo are really not here to do negative work. They're here to help, just like the Ocha priest, just like the Babalao. We're here to help people, to cure, to help, to bring their life more in balance and order, to stabilize certain situations in their life, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually. Our goal is to help people, not to destroy people. But people have this misnomer that Palo is the black sheep, the black side of Ocha, and it's not. Ocha could do is harm, and Ocha could save. Ocha could do bad, and Ocha could do good. Ocha could heal, Ocha could get you sick. It all depends on who's the practitioner, what they're doing, what they know, what they understand. It's so much, that this question has in play, but there's a lot of variables here. I practice in Kisimalongo this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm not sick. If anything, my Nganga has healed me from multiple situations, physical problems. I'm going to say it again. My Nganga has taken away from my physical problems, issues, things physically, that I give thanks and reverence to my Nkisi all the time. Because until you're there, you won't believe it. Until you have a sickness or an issue, whether physically or spiritually, and you don't use what you have, your Nkisi, to help you, you will not understand it, you will not believe. My Nkisi have shown me this is just me. My Nkisi has shown me, literally me, myself, and my anatomy, that it's capable of healing personally. And like I said, until you have it in Nkisi, get initiated, receive it in Nkisi, learn how to communicate, and I'm not saying just communicate using Chamalongo, I'm just saying communicate, have that connection, that spiritual connection with that Nkisi, that you could just talk to it verbally, and talk and give your problems, like how can I say, like that's your counselor. When people go to counseling and they speak, and the counselor stays there, the psychiatrist, and they write there and they let you lay down, and you're speaking, and they just listening to you. That's a lot of times what I do. And there are times that sometimes the pain hurts you so much that you even cry, emotional, in front of that Nkisi. And until you experience that, you will not understand. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Have a great day. Be blessed. Be safe. I'm making the donuts, guys. Sorry for the long one.